Yep. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with a quick preview video today for the 2020 college football season. And up today, the Auburn Tigers. All right. I know I sounded disappointed in that. No one's forcing me to do this. This is my channel and all that. And as you guys know, I've been previewing some college football teams, looking at the 2020 season, breaking down game by game. Not necessarily score predictions, but, giving a record prediction and projecting what they might do. So far, I've done Bama, I've done Clemson, Tennessee, Florida, Ohio State, Penn State, Florida State. I could go on. And Auburn is one of those teams that I do want to do. I think it's only fair. Being a sportscaster, listen, if you don't like teams, you don't like teams. But it's, you got to be fair with it. So I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. Sorry about that. I had to plug my computer in. But anyway, so you look at Auburn. First off, let's go back to last year. The Bo Nix era begins. Son of Patrick Nix, a former Auburn quarterback from like the 90s or the 80s, I think, early 90s or something like that. Open up, Bo Nix named the starter. Well, you go on a really great win streak, win your first 5 games. You look at the Oregon game from the start of the season. Of course, 27-21, the final score of that game. Everyone remembers it was, I guess, somewhat of a comeback. Come from behind, but it wasn't much of a deficit. And Bo Nix brought him back. He proved himself on that field in the what is it? The Advocare Kickoff Classic that they played in Dallas. Technically Arlington, but home of the Dallas Cowboys. Anyway, so you win that game, and again, you win your first 5, Tulane, Kent State, at A&M. A great win, by the way. Everyone had high hopes about A&M. I'll do a preview video for them. I at least plan on it. They ended up going 9-3 overall in the regular season. 9-4 if you count the bowl game with Minnesota in the Outback Bowl. And they were close games too. They only lost to Georgia at home by a touchdown. They lost to the eventual national champions LSU on the road in Baton Rouge only by a field goal. And they lost by 9 points to Florida. 11 points, I'm sorry. And that was on the road too. So when you look at it, they lost 1 home game, they lost a bowl game, and they lost 2 road games. So I would say a pretty good season. Of course, again, they won the Iron Bowl. Ruined Alabama's chances of getting to the playoffs. That's on Alabama, though. No defense for Alabama in that game whatsoever. And a missed field goal, of all places, at Jordan-Hare, of course, comes down to a field goal in the Iron Bowl. But I do give them credit for that game. All right. Moving on. Looking ahead for 2020. Again, assuming we get a football season. We don't know. Okay, you start out with a cupcake in Alcorn State. The Alcorn State Braves. I'm not even sure where the heck that is. That's nobody. It's basically nobody state, tech, trade school, whatever school that is. I'm not sure. But it's a nobody team. That should be no problem. Then you have a game in Atlanta, which is not necessarily the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. I think that one this year is Florida State and West Virginia. Again, I did a preview video for Florida State. Why this is, in Atlanta, week 2 doesn't make sense. I don't really know. But anyway, you come off that on the road at Ole Miss. Then you come back home, play Southern Miss, play Kentucky, and then look at this, at Georgia. I'll do a Georgia preview video pretty soon, along with A&M and other teams. A&M, after a road game at Georgia. Then you have your bye week, October 24th. Halloween, at Mississippi State. Come back home for 3 games. Arkansas, UMass, and LSU. So, when I look at this, I guess what sticks out to me, first off, remember, they moved the Georgia game up. They tried to move it up a couple years ago. They ended up moving it because Auburn's a bunch of crybabies. Because we can't have Georgia and Alabama within back-to-back weeks and blah, blah. Because normally, what it would be, I think where Georgia is right now, right, would normally be the LSU game, right? October 10th. Something like that. That's where they play LSU. Georgia would be November 14th, where you have UMass, which would be a game that you play right before the Iron Bowl. It's always a cupcake before the Iron Bowl, right? But this year, the schedule is a little bit different for each SEC team, at least as far as Bama and Auburn, because Bama gets A&M before the Iron Bowl, right? And you see here, Auburn gets LSU before the Iron Bowl, right? Bunch of crybabies had to move the Georgia game. Why that is? Because it's so hard to play both of these teams, and this year we get them both on the road. Well, work harder in the offseason or something. Do something for recruiting, but don't change the schedule around. You're lucky that you didn't move the Iron Bowl, which I'm glad you didn't, because it's been tradition for many years that this is played the Saturday after Thanksgiving. You know? I'm sorry to go on a rant, but I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. Now, do I care all that much? I mean, no, I don't care as long as you don't touch the Iron Bowl. But it's still really ridiculous, right? I mean, Bama did not purposefully move the A&M game, right? That was not the SEC pretty much hands you the schedule. Auburn went to the SEC to try to move the Georgia game. And they did. It was a success. Bravo. Anyway, I'm going to calm down a little bit here. So, again, I look at this schedule. The road schedule, I mean, it's 50-50 here. At Alabama, at Georgia, at Ole Miss, at Mississippi State. Again, not sure exactly what Mike Leach is going to look like with Mississippi State. I would expect him to do a really great job. Probably way better than Moorhead. And Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. You get both those teams on the road. One early in the year with Ole Miss. One on Halloween. Midway through the year at Mississippi State. You struggle so much at Bryant-Denny and Sanford Stadium. Hold on just 1 second. When's the last time they won in Athens? I can look. The last time they won in Athens, Georgia was 2005, right? That's a long time. The last time they won in Tuscaloosa was 2010. Of course, we remember they went on to win the title with Gene Chizik as the head coach. Did a great job. Cam Newton won the Heisman, right? So they struggle on the road with Georgia and Alabama, but they have great success at Auburn, right? Won the Iron Bowl last year. Yeah, they lost to Georgia in Auburn Georgia won in Auburn for the first time. Well, it says right here 2015, so it hasn't been that long, but normally Auburn wins that game at home. So when I look at this, you should have no problem with Alcorn State. I think Auburn is a far better team than North Carolina. That's 2 wins right there. I'm going to give the win to them. Again, the first 5 games, Alcorn State, North Carolina, Ole Miss, Southern Miss, and Kentucky. One of those games is on the road. That's Ole Miss. You should be 5-0 before going to Georgia. I see you losing the Georgia game. So you come off that. You're 5-1 going into the A&M game. I don't know exactly what to think. Jordan-Hare is a really tough place to play. It's kind of a coin flip. I really don't know what Jimbo Fisher is going to look like with the Aggies this year. I'm really high on him. I think it's a good hire. I think he's done a good job so far with what he's done. I'm going to give it to Auburn, though, since it's in Jordan-Hare. Now, if this was in at Kyle Field in College Station, that's a different story. Because that's a really loud and tough place to play. Come off that with a bye week. On the road at Mississippi State. Why do I have a feeling they're going to lose that game? I really have a feeling they're going to lose that game for some reason. Like, I really think Mike Leach can pull this off. I really don't know. You come off that. Arkansas, UMass, LSU, and at Alabama. First off, you're not winning the Iron Bowl this year. Sorry. It's in T-Town. Hopefully it could be a night game. You can get a load of our new light system. Please, enough with this 3:30 CBS stuff. Every year with the Iron Bowl. LSU. We'll see what happens. I don't know. This is really tough to figure out, Auburn. They almost beat LSU last year. You go back to it, and this might help me decide what I want to pick here. Only lost by a field goal on the road. And it's been a field goal pretty much the past couple years. Tell you what, since it's at Jordan-Hare, I'll give it to you. So, with that being said, and of course, after that, at Alabama, I just picked that to be a loss. I don't know. So you're undefeated going into Georgia. That's your first loss. You lose the Iron Bowl. I don't know. I could see a 9-3 or 10-2 season. Tell you what, I'll give it to Mississippi State because it's in Starksville and the cowbells and everything. So, with that being said, the Auburn Tigers for 2020, my official prediction, Auburn 9-3, those losses at Georgia, at Mississippi State, and at Alabama. I think it's going to be a pretty interesting season. Again, we don't know what Mississippi State's going to look like. We don't know what LSU is going to look like. Again, I did a preview video on them going into their season preview, talking about the coaches they lost, the players that they lost, especially with Joe Burrow gone. You lose Justin Jefferson and all that. They lose a lot, and it's going to be a rebuild year there. But we will see. Again, UMass, you could beat them. Southern Miss, no problem. North Carolina, no problem. Alcorn State, cupcake. And then SEC. So, again. So that's my prediction for Auburn. 9-3. At Alabama, at Mississippi State, and at Georgia, the 3 losses. It could be 8-4. We'll see what the Aggies look like. Could they go to Jordan-Hare and pull an upset? Probably so. But again, you never know. But we will see. So anyway, that's it for this video. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. I do college football, I do baseball, I do basketball. I've kind of, died down on it a bit with this whole coronavirus. There's nothing to talk about. So I'm just kind of working on these preview videos, I guess. So, and anything else that comes up, I just throw a video out. But anyway, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, Ballard Sports Media, checking out. See y'all later.